What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Buff Nerds. I'm Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds, and today I'm going to go over a tutorial on how to color correct like a pro in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, first thing we're going to do is you're going to I got some footage here, some sample footage, a few raw clips from Hawaii off the Red Epic and the 1DX Mark II, and I'm just going to show you how you can color correct all your videos inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, professionally, I do music videos for major labeled artists as well as independent artists. A lot of my work can be seen on not only YouTube and Vivo, but TVs like MTV, VH1. I've had videos displayed everywhere, but I do all of my own coloring for my videos, and I do it all inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. They've got some really cool tools where you can edit and fully color your videos in Premiere. And so I'm going to go over quickly, as fast as I can while still giving you information on how I do this. So first thing you're going to do, once I've edited my video, say this is my video right here, we're going to set it in and out point here, and say this is my entire edited video. What I typically do is I create an adjustment layer. I'm going to come in, create this adjustment layer, and I'm going to lay that adjustment layer over my timeline and my footage. So what that's going to do is anything I apply to my adjustment layer, it's going to affect everything below it, and this is kind of how I get my overall general color for a video. So next, I'm going to come into Lumetri. I'm going to type in Lumetri color. I'm going to drag that onto the adjustment layer. And now from here is where you start to color grade. Typically, I first find a LUT that I'm going to use. I typically use either one of my own LUTs that I've created from my color grading presets, or ones from Tropic Color, or Lutify Me is the other one I use. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to come in here. Alright, cool. So I found Vivid. I like Vivid. That's a good jumping off point. LUTs are exactly what I just said, a jumping off point. You're never just going to apply the LUT and boom, that's it. Video color graded, and that's how you should leave it. No. So why I always apply it in the creative tab as well, and you can come up here and go to the color section so it's a little bigger so you can kind of see here. But I always apply in the creative tab because you can adjust the intensity of that LUT by dragging this slider, and that's only if you apply it in the creative LUT or the creative section. You can't do that if you apply the LUT under the basic correction. So that's why I always do it in the creative tab. I'm going to go back to here really quick. I'm used to color grading in this little window over here. So let's just take the intensity down a bit. We're just gonna go to maybe 95 here, and then effect I typically like to do inside of here is I like to give a slight fade. This is how a lot of people ask how you can kind of give a faded look to your video. This is where you're going to find that under the adjustments right here under creative. You go to the adjustments button tab right here. You can add a fade. We'll just add a slight fade for the sake of me talking about it. You can sharpen your video. You can choose the vibrance. So this is going to be the vibrance. I'll take that down a bit, maybe to a -5. Saturation, you can play with your saturation here. And lastly, your shadow tint, shadow highlight. Now here's something I want to quickly talk about when you're dealing with your color wheels, and you're dealing with your color wheels. You want to choose colors of complementary colors. So for example, if I drag my shadows down towards the blues, I'm going to want to take my highlights in the opposite direction some way up towards the yellows or oranges, yellows or oranges. Now what these are complementary colors because they're opposite of the color wheel. So these colors here are complementary colors. These colors here are complementary colors. You're going to pick colors that are complementary of each other, across from each other on the color wheel. And that's where you're going to get the best looking balance of color. If you drag shadows down here and you also drag the highlights down here, those aren't complementing each other well. So that's just a quick little tidbit on color, on how to kind of create colors that are visually pleasing to the eye. So right now you can see I kind of have this slight faded look here, and I typically like to have my shadows down towards kind of the blues a little bit, little blue green in my shadows. That's typically what I like to do when I color. So shadow tint, we're gonna leave that. Saturation's good. If you want to boost it way up, you can obviously boost it way up, but we'll leave it at like 105 for right now. So once I've got the LUT all dialed in, this is what I like to call the LUT section, you know, where you apply the LUT and you kind of adjust some things in here. In the creative tab, we're gonna minimize that and come into the basic correction here. So here's where you can now dial in kind of the overall look of the LUT from, you know, your highlights, your contrast. You want it very crushed, shadowy, and all that good stuff. So for this image right here, it's a little flat, and you may like that. You know, color, I try and tell people all this time, color is a preference, color is a style, color is a choice. Not everyone's gonna like the same type of color. You know, if you want to color your videos very crushed colors with the blacks crushed out and dark, and then, you know, the highlights more exposed, that's your prerogative. That may look good to you. It may not look good to someone else. So when you're coloring your video, color is preference. There's not really a right and a wrong way, other than trying to get the most balanced and well-looking image that you can get. Typically for me, I like to take the shadows a little, or highlights, and a little bit into the negative. I don't like blown out highlights. So I'm gonna take that just a hair down that way. Shadows will crush just a little bit. And anytime you have a noisy image, the more you can crush the blacks down here, that'll help you get rid of noise in your image. So if you have a noisy image, you're trying to help get rid of that, either use a denoiser or crush your blacks a little bit. So see how when I take that down, the blacks get dark. That'll help you get rid of some noise. I'm gonna crush the blacks slightly. Temperature, let's warm it up a hair. It's a little cold feeling. It's a tropical island. We wanna spruce up the warmth a little bit. Maybe go to a 5 here. Exposure level looks pretty good generally. And that might be a little saturated. I'll take it down a hair. Go to like a 90. And then last but not least, inside of here, I mean, there's so many more things I can go into detail on. Really quickly, secondaries, this gets a little complicated. I'm trying to go over the basics of what you can do to color grade inside of Premiere and how you can quickly and professionally color grade an image inside of Premiere. So if you want to create a little vignette, you come down here to this vignette tab, and you're gonna go negative, let's see here, negative 1.5. Let me pick a clip where you can see this a little better. So here's 0, set to zeroed out. The more I take that down, the more of a vignette. So I'm gonna make it a super hard vignette so you can kind of see what we're dealing with. Midpoint, we'll choose, it was set to 50. We'll do like a 25. Roundness, we want it kind of round. Good little shape, and then we want to feather that out so it's not as heavy. Do like an 85. And now that vignette's obviously a little strong, at least for my taste. I don't know, you guys may like it, but we're just gonna walk that off to about a -5. So boom, we have a slight vignette. You can see if I take it on and off, you can see how it kind of just draws your eye into the center of the image a little bit, so you're not as distracted by the outside edges. You throw on a little vignette, helps your eye focus towards the center of the image a little more. And yeah, the color is looking pretty good right now. The next step that I typically do when color grading, once I've dialed in kind of my overall, white balance, the tint, the exposure, the contrast, and the LUT. Actually, let's take the contrast. I'm more of a fan of a flatter image. I don't like super contrasty images, so I'll walk this down to a -5. It's pretty good. Cool. So there's my Lumetri color tab, and again, you can come into the color tab up here, and you can have a bigger section specifically just for color grading over here, or you could just do it in the edit tab over here. But one of the last things I use to color grade inside of Premiere is levels. So I'm going to type in levels over here in the effects tab. We're going to come apply a levels to the adjustment layer, and then here I use kind of these top 4 markers right here to adjust things. So if you drag the black input level to the right, that's going to again kind of help crush those black areas of the image. So we may drag that to let's do a 4 for right now. And then the white input level, by dragging that to the left, you're going to take the whites of your image and it's just going to bring those way up. So you can see the more I bring it up, it starts to really kind of overexpose those areas. So if you want the the brightness and the whites to pop a little more, you can drag that to the left. We might drag it to a 250, ever so slightly. And now the black output level, this is again another way you can kind of achieve a faded look. If you come here to the black output level and we drag it to the right, you can see how the image starts to fade. So much like the fade section in Lumetri Color, we can take the black output level and we can fade that ever so slightly. If you want to fade, y'all could catch a fade, you know what I'm saying? that was terrible. Anyways, white output level, don't touch this one as much, but you can mess with this if you want. This basically takes the output level of those whites and kind of brings them down. So you can see if I play with that, I don't touch that one too much. Maybe drag it over just a hair. So now we've got the Lumetri, we got the colors, and now that is the overall color correction for my video. Now people ask, like, you know, do you color clips individually? No, I do not color clips individually. I pick an overall general color for my image, for my video. I apply it to the adjustment layer, and then from there I'll go in and adjust single clips if need be. Once you've applied your general color correction, that's where you're gonna then go in and fix individual clips if need be. For example, this clip right here of this water sloshing is a little overexposed compared to the rest of these clips. So again, I would come in, Lumetri Color, apply it to that individual clip, and now I'm going to come in and I'm gonna take the exposure down to better match the other clips. So we'll go about a -4. That's starting to look better. So you can see the difference in the image and how it's a little more properly exposed and better matches the exposure and contrast levels of these images over here now. We might boost the contrast a little bit, take the blacks down, and boom. Now we have an image that is more color corrected and suitable to match the rest of the clips in the timeline. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially it, guys. You're gonna take, at least what I do inside of Adobe Premiere is I find my color correction for the video. Again, this was very quick, very rough, but you apply your general color correction and look to your adjustment layer over your entire video, and then you're gonna go in and affect different individual clips as you see fit and change them how you want to better fit or, you know, match the rest of your video. So yeah, guys, hopefully that helped in some way. Hopefully you learned something and took something away from this video that you didn't know before, or got a better grasp of color grading in any sense. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you guys. And as always, make sure to check out all the other tutorials and videos we have on this channel, from music videos, tutorials, travel videos, all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. You already know what it is. Jakob Owens here for the Buff Nerds. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.